What intimidates you the most about starting your first Epoxy project? Is it the fear of stepping into the unknown, the overwhelming sense of preparation, or perhaps the thought that you might not have what it takes to create something stunning? These are common feelings, especially for beginners, but if you pause for a moment and consider, isn't that first leap what makes every creative endeavor worth pursuing? Every epoxy artist, from the seasoned pros creating mesmerizing ocean scenes to hobbyists crafting simple yet beautiful pieces, began where you are right now, full of questions, doubts, and a spark of curiosity. Are you confident in your woodworking skills? Or do you think epoxy art might be beyond your abilities? This is a key question, and it's worth pausing to reflect on it. Maybe you have always admired beautifully crafted epoxy tables or intricate resin art pieces, but when it comes to trying it yourself, self-doubt creeps in. You might think, I'm not a carpenter or I don't have the artistic talent for this. But here is the truth. Epoxy art isn't reserved for master woodworkers or seasoned artists. It's for anyone willing to learn, practice, and make mistakes along the way. The beauty of epoxy art lies in its ability to transform raw materials into something entirely unique, something that reflects your vision, imperfections, and all. Let's start with woodworking. Are you familiar with your tools? Can you sand a piece of wood, use a saw, or prepare a surface for epoxy? If your answer is no, that's okay. Woodworking, like any skill, improves with practice. Start small. You don't need to tackle a massive dining table as your first project. A simple charcuterie board, poster set, or even a decorative key holder can help you get comfortable with tools and techniques. Small wins build confidence, and soon tasks like cutting, sanding, and finishing wood will feel second nature. Imagine running your hands over a perfectly smooth edge that you shaped, knowing that you created a foundation for your project. That sense of accomplishment is priceless. And what about epoxy itself? That glossy, mesmerizing material can feel like a mystery at first. How much do you mix? How long does it take to cure? What if it doesn't turn out the way you expected? These are valid concerns, but epoxy is incredibly forgiving. Begin by familiarizing yourself with the basics. Understand the difference between deep pour and tabletop epoxy. Experiment with mixing ratios, using small batches to avoid waste. Learn to identify the sweet spot in curing time for embedding objects or adding layers. The more hands-on you are, the more intuitive the process becomes. With each pour, you will start noticing how the resin behaves, how colors interact, and how you manipulate it to achieve your vision. If tools and materials seem overwhelming, let's simplify. For woodworking, you don't need an elaborate workshop. A few essentials, a sander, a jigsaw, and clamps will suffice for most beginner projects. When it comes to resin, start with a good quality epoxy that fits your project needs. Add a few pigments, a mixing bucket, stirring sticks, and a torch or heat gun to eliminate bubbles, and you are good to go. Don't feel pressure to buy every tool right away. Build your arsenal as you progress and take on more ambitious projects. In fact, the journey of gradually assembling your tools and learning how to use them can be as rewarding as the art itself. One of the biggest barriers to starting an epoxy project is fear of failure. What if it doesn't look like the stunning pieces you've seen online? What if the wood warps or the resin doesn't cure properly? What if there are bubbles or the colors doesn't turn out as you imagined? It's natural to worry, but remember that mistakes are part of the process. Even seasoned epoxy artists occasionally encounter setbacks. The key is to view them as opportunities to learn rather than reasons to quit. For example, let's talk about bubbles, a common issue for beginners. To minimize them, always mix your resin slowly to avoid introducing air. Use a heat gun or torch to pour bubbles that rise to the surface during the pour. And don't forget to seal porous wood surfaces before pouring, as unsealed wood can release air bubbles into the resin. This small adjustment can make a big difference, and you get better at spotting and addressing potential issues with each project. Each bubble you tackle is a step closer to mastering your craft. Now, let's tackle the creativity aspect. Do you feel uncertain about your artistic vision or worry that your designs won't look professional? The good news is that epoxy art thrives on individuality. Start by gathering inspiration. Browse social media platforms, visit resin art forums, or watch tutorials from experienced creators. Take note on the color combinations, patterns, and techniques that resonate with you. Then put your spin on them. Your first project doesn't have to be groundbreaking, it just has to be yours. Over time, as you gain confidence and experience, your unique style will naturally emerge. Your imperfections will become part of your signature, turning potential mistakes into intentional design choices. If time is a concern, know that epoxy art can be as quick or as involved as you want it to be. Simple projects like coasters or trays can be completed in a day, while larger undertakings like river tables or wall art may require more planning and patience. Remember, the time you invest in creating something is part of what makes it special. Use curing time to your advantage. Plan your next steps, experiment with new techniques, or sketch ideas for future projects. Epoxy art is a balance of action and anticipation, and both are equally rewarding. Costs is another factor that might be holding you back. Yes, high quality epoxy and premium wood can be expensive, but there are always ways to minimize expenses. Start by sourcing affordable materials. Local lumber yards often have offcuts or scraps that are perfect for small projects. As for epoxy, purchase smaller quantities until you are confident in your technique. This way, you reduce waste and keep costs manageable while learning the ropes. Perfectionism is another common challenge. It's easy to compare your first attempt to the polished professional pieces you see online and feel discouraged. But remember, those artists likely started with imperfect projects too. Your first pour might have a few flaws, and that's okay. Instead of striving for perfection, focus on the process. Celebrate small victories, like achieving a smooth surface or mastering a new technique. Over time, the skills you develop will lead to pieces you are truly proud of. One practical tip for overcoming perfectionism is to create a test piece before starting your main project. Use leftover wood and resin to practice your technique. Test color combinations and get a feel for the materials. This allows you to make mistakes and learn without the pressure of ruining your primary project. It's a low-risk way to build confidence and improve your skills. By the time you start your actual project, you have already overcome many of the hurdles that once seemed insurmountable. If you are still feeling unsure, break the process into manageable steps. Start with preparation, gather your tools, set up a workspace, and choose a simple project. Next, focus on the woodworking elements, cuts, sand and seal your wood. Then move on to the resin, measure, mix and pour. Finally, let your piece cure and add finishing touches like sanding, polishing or applying a protective coat. Taking it one step at a time makes the process feel less daunting and more achievable. And let's not forget the satisfaction that comes from creating something with your own hands. Epoxy art isn't just about the finished product, it's about the joy of experimenting, the thrill of seeing your ideas take shape, and the pride of overcoming challenges. Whether your first project is a simple coaster or an ambitious table, the experience will teach you valuable lessons that go far beyond the workshop. With each pour, each sanding stroke, and each curing cycle, you are not just creating art, you are building resilience, patience, and confidence. So, what intimidates you the most? Is it the tools, the techniques, the time, or the fear of failure? Whatever it is, know that you have the ability to overcome it. Take the first step, however small, and trust in the process. Each project will bring you closer to mastering the art of epoxy, and before you know it, you'll be creating pieces that not only look stunning but also carry the story of your journey. Now is the perfect time to start, so gather your materials, set up your workspace, and let your creativity flow. Thank you for being part of our creative journey. If this video lighted a spark or inspired your project, don't let the idea stop here. Hit like, share it with fellow creators, and subscribe to join a community that thrives on innovation. Tap the notification bell and make sure you are always ahead of the curve with our latest inspiration. See you in the next video.